Hey everyone, so this video was a long time coming. This is my 1400 subscriber special, even though I'm at 1900 subscribers right now, and the 1500 subscriber special is already done. That was the Mini Toys of Jazz. Essentially, I've been packing things up. The channel's been growing so fast, and so many of my toys have been put into storage that I don't have access to a lot of them right now. So we're going to eventually catch back up on these things, but I did say the next one was going to be the top 10 Arcee figures, so this is not every Arcee toy I own. There are a few that I accidentally already packed up. That said, none of them that I packed up would be figures I would consider in my top 10, so this should still be fine. At the end of the day though, I do want to say Arcee is my favorite Autobot. They are on my Mount Rushmore of Transformers. I don't really know why I love Arcee so much, it's just every version of her I like for different reasons. I like Susan Blue as the G1 voice, I love Prime Arcee for being one of the most interesting characters ever in Transformers, I liked IDW Arcee once they got Simon Furman off the book. I just like Arcee. I think she's cool, I think that she typically has some of the most interesting stories in all of Transformers, and I like her toys, at least when her toys are allowed to be good toys. So, we're going to take a look-see at all of these Arcees as a thank you to everyone who has found me, everyone who's discovered me, and everyone who has stuck around. Thank you guys, and let's get to number 10. At number 10, it's the Robot Heroes Arcee. A very simple minifigure, but this was the Arcee I had as a kid, and I still really like it. It's simple, sure, but it captures the design very well, and I like that she's running away from explosion. Very, very simple, but still a charming little guy. At number 9 is the Legacy Prime Universe Arcee. Not the best Arcee figure, not the best Prime Arcee figure, but one that has grown on me recently. And honestly, the best part about this figure is that motorcycle mode. Still a very solid look for the figure. The robot mode is fine. I don't think it captures Prime Arcee all that well, but it's still a unique Arcee and a good figure in its own right, even though I do like it a bit more as Jazz. I'm kind of surprising myself at number 8. Studio Series 86 Arcee is at the tail end of the list. This isn't a bad figure, it's great. It's probably the best G1 Arcee that Hasbro and Takara have ever put in their main line. It's just, G1 Arcee isn't a great design for toys. It was never meant to be a toy, it was meant to just be in the cartoon. And I think Hasbro and Takara tend to make pretty off decisions when it comes to trying to translate it into a toy. Look at Earthrise Arcee, where it literally didn't even transform. But I do like this figure. I think it's a great Arcee. It's my main display Arcee on my G1 shelf. It's just, there's something about it where I don't like how thin the proportions are, and in all honesty, my love of Arcee really is more from these latter days of the fandom. Things like Prime, IDW, Skybound. None of those Arcees really jive all that much with Arcee from G1 in terms of design. So I think it's just a case of too much time has passed, I don't enjoy the design aesthetics all that much, but this is still a wonderful Arcee, and if you are like me and you have a G1 generation shelf, this is the figure I would point to if you want screen accuracy while still being a fun figure in its own right. At number 7, it's the animated Arcee. I love this design for the character, and the car mode. Good god, the car mode is just perfect. That said, the figure has a couple of issues, some personal, some just from a design. I don't like how the arm looks. I can see the peg here, it's just kind of ugly looking. Alongside that, you might notice my Arcee, no fins and no foot. I ordered this on eBay, and the seller put a picture up, and that is not what I got, but also, I got it for so cheap that I decided not to bother with it. I'll repair this Arcee one day, and I still really like it. It's not like you need those pieces for this figure to be good, but it has soured on me just a bit. And also, those fingers are going to break. They are just not meant to hold those swords. At number 6, it's the Rise of the Beast Alliance Arcee. I love this figure. Deluxe scaled, good transformation, great robot mode, awesome articulation. For me, this is the best figure Arcee got from Rise of the Beast, at least from Hasbro. And I also love that they partnered her with Cheetor. He gives you this great arm-mounted sword. They hold each other incredibly well. That's the thing that surprised me the most, is that this figure doesn't get off-balanced all that easily thanks to how big her ankles and her heel spur is. It's an awesome figure that can get in some really fun poses, and at the end of the day, it's probably the best design or best figure Hasbro's ever going to give to this particular design. So, you get some brownie points from me. At number 5 is my favorite movie Arcee design, that being the Bumblebee movie Arcee. I love this figure. When I reviewed this all the way back when on TikTok, I praised it as being the best Arcee in my collection. I don't think that's the case. I think I just had some of that new toy smell, but it was really, really fun, and it still is incredibly fun. I love the backpack, I love the guns, I love the proportions. There's just one issue, and you can see what it is. Those heels. Those heels just don't work all that well. The idea is that the wheels are supposed to form a heel spur. That's not really how it works, unfortunately. You can get this figure standing in good poses, but you have to be careful because it is easy to knock this Arcee down. Even still, a great motorcycle mode, a good transformation, and a very fun toy do make this still one of my favorite Arcee figures, enough to where it almost made it onto my Mount Rushmore. At number 4, this is the most playable Arcee of all time, and one of my favorites, one of the most unique to boot. This is the Titan's Return Arcee. Using Blur as the original body, and then painting it, remolding it to make it Arcee, it works so well. Blur was already one of the best Titan's Return Deluxes, giving it this premium paint job, alongside details like Arcee's kind of backpack on the shoulders now. I love it. And what's even better is, this is a reference. If Arcee ever got a toy in G1, the one they designed was actually going to be a repaint of Blur. So now, all these decades later, they follow up on it, and it works. It works incredibly well. The car mode is awesome. I love the fact that we still have the Titan Master, because hey, that's G1 accurate. And this little guy, I know that his name officially is Lenad. That's Daniel. That's Daniel Witwicky, forming the head of Arcee. It's a great figure with an awesome attention to detail and honestly an awesome attention to the history of this character, not just in terms of lore, but in terms of real world toy history. I am so happy to have this thing in my collection, and I'll be honest, there was a part of me that was going to make it number 1. I think it's because I literally just opened it up today. I think that's too much of the new toy bias coming into play, but just know, this is one of the best, and there's a very real chance it might be the best. At number 3, it had to be the APC Toys Angel Engine, a great luxury knockoff of that first edition Arcee, given better paint and better accessories and better joints and all things considered. I really, really love this figure. Great transformation, great motorcycle, and at the end of the day, it's the most unique design Arcee has ever had in terms of shows and video games and everything else. It's a standout characterization, one that really propelled Arcee into the superstar status that she is today within the fandom, and I adore it for that reason. I think Prime Arcee might be my favorite version of the character. If not, it's probably in contention between that, Skybound, and IDW. But regardless of which Arcee we talk about, there's no denying the fact that the first Arcee I truly fell in love with, the first Arcee that made me say that is a favorite character of mine, was Prime Arcee. And having this nice a figure of her at long last, it's a little bit of a childhood dream come true, you know? This toy that I was never able to get as a kid, now I'm able to get it nowadays, and it's better in most ways. It's great. This is going to be controversial. Number 2 is the Cyberverse Deluxe Arcee, and I can't even tell you why. It's just everything about this figure works for me. I love the colors, I love the hits of blue, I love the head sculpt, I love the gun, the transformation. Best transformation on any car mode Arcee Hasbro's ever made. I will die on that hill. Now, I know people would be like, oh, the backpack. That backpack is show accurate. Oh, but they designed the toy first. No, they didn't. So if you don't know the weird history of Cyberverse, they weren't supposed to get deluxes. And the design team didn't know that Hasbro was ever going to make a toy of Arcee. They made this to make fun of the fact that Arcee's toys can never be show accurate because they don't actually transform. All the car mode just goes on its back. And then Hasbro made the figure. So this backpack exists to make fun of the fact that Hasbro's not good at making transforming Arcees, but then they made it one of the best transformations Arcee has ever had. How insane is that? When the parody becomes better than the original. This is the Weird Al Yankovic of toys. Now, I know people would also complain that it's really bad at yellowing All these places that you see that are supposed to be off-white, they were pearlescent white when this figure came out. I kind of love that too, though, because what people have figured out is it's eventually going to become orange and then stop. Original G1 toy Arcee, orange and pink. This Arcee is literally taking the toy history of Arcee, all the missteps, all the bungled decisions, and saying, no, I exist. This is how I am meant to be. I love this Arcee. I love it for dumb reasons, but I still love it. And even without all those idiotic brain worm things inside my mind, I still like it because it's a great looking figure with great posability and an awesome, awesome car mode. It's a figure that I pull down from the shelf to transform back and forth all the time. One of my favorite toys in my entire collection. One that I'm so happy to have. And in all honesty, there was a real chance that this was going to be my number one. But there's one figure that I just can't push any further down. At number one, it had to be Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Prototype Azaela. So the Ocular Max Azaela is the best Masterpiece Arcee. You guys can show me your fans' toys, you can show me the official Masterpiece, I don't care. This is the best one, in my opinion, and in terms of transformation, in terms of proportions, in terms of play, I think objectively it's the best as well. I don't have the proper original Azaela. I want to track it down. I'm not even a Masterpiece person, but I do want a proper Masterpiece Arcee. But this one I had to pick up because this is Arcee in the G1 toy colors, the toy that never came out. It finally exists and it's beautiful. I love the colors here. The orange, the yellow, the pink, the harsh magenta. It reminds me of a 70s couch. I don't know why, but that's what it kind of brings to mind. And it's great. It's a figure that just screams wholesomeness. I look at that and I think that is friend. That is safety. That is like childhood home. I go there and everything's gonna be okay, like lizard brain reaction. If you've seen my Sideswipe videos, you know that I feel the same way about the Toxitron Sideswipe, where it's just the colors are almost so kid-friendly, it makes me like the figure even more. That's the same thing here. These colors are so good, the robot mode and the proportions are perfect, the car mode, good god, best Arcee car mode ever, and the best transformation to get that car mode ever. It's proof that sometimes the fans are able to do these characters better than Hasbro. I'm not saying that I'm all third party or I'm all in on Hasbro. I think that a good collection gets built on both sometimes. You gotta pick and choose what you like. And me personally, if I could only keep one Arcee, it would actually probably be the Titans Return Arcee. But also, I would do my best to keep this one too. Getting my 4 favorite Arcees back in, all I can say is Arcee is one of the only characters that every time there's a new toy announced for them, I'm always excited and I'm always curious. It's them and Thundercracker. Those are the 2 characters I have that feeling for. I love Arcee. Not all of her figures have been great. In fact, a lot of them have been kind of rough around the edges, but I still enjoy them for what they are. And I enjoy Arcee for what she is as a character and what she is for this fandom. I love her, I love everything about her and her media appearances. I think that she is one of the true all-stars of Transformers and has been ever since she first showed up in '86. But guys, I'll ask you now, do you have a favorite Arcee? And also, just thank you for hanging out. Thank you for watching this. Thank you for being patient. I'm going to have a few more top 10s and top 5s to do once I'm actually in the new place and settled in. It might be a bit before we get there, though. The next one's probably going to be Thundercracker. But until then, hey, we'll see what we get up to next time.